start of a new school year can bring excitement, but for many students, it can also stir up feelings of worry or anxiety, especially when transitioning to a new grade, a new school, or even just a new routine. From making new friends to facing higher expectations, the emotional load can be heavy, and often it goes unnoticed. Today, we're talking with Joshua Cartwright, a school guidance counselor, about how students and their families can navigate these feelings and start the school year with confidence. Welcome to What's Trending, Joshua.
Thank you for having me.
It's so great to have you here with us. Now, we hear a lot about back-to-school anxiety. That's something that people are talking about. What are some of the most common concerns that we see that students face, especially when moving into a new grade or a new school?
I think some of the more common things would be that idea of where I was in one grade. I got used to the teachers, I got used to the workload, I got used to the expectations. But now, as I move up, all of that changes. I'm not really sure what is expected of me until I get back in the classroom on that first day, that first week. And then for those who transition from primary school to junior high school to high school, and then some even from high school to college, it's a completely different environment. The people that I'm going to meet will be different. There'll be new teachers that I have to get used to. There'll be a whole different atmosphere. And so on the outside, we may look good in our new uniform,
yes,
or our new hairstyles and our new haircuts, but on the inside, it's almost like a terror. We feel like this because what we are seeing now is something that we do not know. And as people, naturally, we fear the unknown.
That's true.
And so when we look at these transitions, we have to understand that a support system is going to be needed, and then we have to ensure that the environment that they are going in can be productive for them so that they can excel.
So then what are some of the early warning signs that persons can look out for a child that may be feeling overwhelmed or anxious?
I think the most obvious would be silence. A lot of students, when they are feeling something on the inside, they tend to internalize it. And so rather than you seeing a smile or a friendly gesture from them, you see them just sitting there. They look like they're daydreaming. They look like they are not engaged with their surroundings. They may just be sitting there and you may be asking them, oh, what's wrong? Oh, nothing. I'm fine. How was your day? It was okay. When really and truly they may not know how to speak about it, or they may not know what it is that they want to say, but they want to say something. And so I would encourage parents in particular to give them the space that they need, and I'll always encourage them to know that, okay, if you want to say something, I'm listening. And as they then open up and speak, you cannot judge them.
This was going to get into my next question, where how can parents or caregivers ease the anxiety for these students, for their children, in the days and weeks leading up to school's reopening?
Encouragement would be one of the biggest things. Reminding them that you are capable, you are able, you can get it done, and then giving them the space that they need to experience. Also encouraging them not to have too much expectations, because expectations can thwart our reality of what is going on around us. And so you can let them know, okay, on your first day, try to have an open mind. Try not to think about or compare what is it that I want to experience or what is it that I may be expecting, and just see how the day goes. But as the day goes on, help them to realize that I can do it. And that can look like in the mornings during the car ride, whisper to them or set a small, quiet environment where they know that, okay, today is going to be a good day. Help them to reassure themselves by teaching them small comments, I got this.
So for those students making the shift, say, from junior or to high school, that social shift could be just as impactful as an academic one. So then how can they prepare them for that emotional change that you mentioned? Because it seems like so much changes or so much change is happening in this midst.
I would suggest that you encourage them to feel what they are feeling, and in feeling it, to be honest with themselves. Because as a child, you may be feeling something, but then you may try to convince yourself that I'm not feeling it, or it's not real. And so if you know that it's safe to feel what I'm feeling, by telling them it's safe to be anxious.
So don't hide your emotions.
No, don't hide it. It's okay to feel nervous. It's okay not to be as confident as you can be. But once you recognize that, then what do? Let's talk about it. And in talking about it, I want to hear what you have to say about it. What do you think you should do? How do you think you should go about feeling this? And then as they do that, then you go on to let them know, okay, now it's time for you to reassure yourself. I may feel anxiety. That's okay. I understand it's okay now, but what do I do when I feel it?
So then this is where you come in.
Yes.
How do guidance counselors like yourself assist students in this transition period? Are there specific programs or tools that you share with them to get them through it?
In the school that I'm employed at for our 7th to 9th grades, we have a class with them weekly. It's called Classroom Guidance, or in some cases, Life Skills. And in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the semester, we let them know, okay, this is my role as a counselor. This is what I am here to provide for you. And then that is your opportunity as well to help them to realize that this is a safe space. This is an environment that you can feel safe to open up. And whenever you want to talk, we are here. We let them know, okay, as the year goes on, we begin to teach them how to deal with time management, how to deal with emotional coping, how to deal with stress, and then how to organize themselves so that no matter what happens, they can be successful.
And so with social media being such a big part of students' lives, how does that affect the back-to-school anxiety, and what can parents do to manage that influence?
I would suggest the excitement that comes with back to school, let's try to think about what's happening on the inside as well.
Okay.
And so we all know about first day of school pictures.
Of course.
Well, we spend half of
Every
the morning,
timeline is flooded.
everyone. But then if you look through those pictures, there's not much, have a great school year.
Not much encouraging.
Right. We see them saying, okay, smile for the camera. But in smiling for the camera, how are you feeling for real? And so once the camera is gone, then you can give them a little nudge on the shoulder. You're gonna have a good day.
Yeah, just make them connect.
Right. And so with that connection, and then also parents have to pay attention. A lot of times, a lot of things that is happening in social media, especially for young people, parents are not really paying attention until they are forced to do so. What is it that your children have access to online? What is it that they are seeing on their timelines? How are they responding to it? And then let's talk about it. Let's see how you understand it, and then what you should filter out from it so that it doesn't affect you.
Now, what role does sleep, nutrition, and physical activity play in maintaining school stress? And give us one simple thing that students can do each day to manage that stress and stay grounded.
Now with sleep, everyone usually says that 8 hours is healthy.
Right.
But the reality is not much young people want to go to sleep at 8 o'clock or 7.
No, they do not.
Because they feel they're going to miss out on something.
Yes.
And so I usually encourage students to figure out a schedule that works for you.
Okay.
If you realize, okay, I can go to sleep at 10 o'clock and I don't feel too bad in the morning when I wake up, then try to stick in that area.
Because routine is important.
If you realize that you're still feeling a bit sleepy, then try 9:30. But you have to accept the fact that you're going to miss out on some things because your rest is important.
You need to get to bed.
Right. And then even when getting to bed, there's one thing about going to sleep and getting a night's rest. So you can sleep, but if your mind is still actively going, then you're not really getting much rest. So what I would say is to practice mindfulness, or practice some grounding technique where something as simple as sitting on your bed, back straight, you're planting yourself, breathing in and out, is helping you to release and to calm all of what is going on the inside. And in a simple, I've had a long day, I can process these things, now I can quiet my mind down so that once I go to sleep, I can get a full night's rest.
So then what advice do you have for students who are dealing with bullying or exclusion, especially in the early school year when friendships are still kind of being formed?
I would always recommend them to talk to a trusted adult. In this case, either their homeroom teachers, a teacher that they trust, or most importantly, the guidance counselors.
Yes, you take up a lot.
You let us know what's going on, and we will help you through it. And it's easier to have that conversation from the initial stages than to wait until everything is going wrong, and then you are forced to say something. And so if you could have that conversation with an adult, and it does not have to be a very in-depth conversation. Hey, Mr. Cartwright, I've been having a long day. This person, I realize they're starting to pick on me. I'm feeling a bit off. Every time I'm around them, okay. So now let's figure out what it is that we need to do so that you can be comfortable. Let's figure out what we need to do so that you are not targeted, but we can address the situation.
It's definitely some good advice. Thank you so much, Joshua, for joining us today and providing not only compassion but practical tips that both parents can use and definitely students returning to the classrooms can apply as well. So thank you so much for that. So whether it's the first day of kindergarten or the first year of high school, transitions aren't always easy, but with the right support, students can move through their anxiety and into growth. Well, as we head into a new school year, let's remember a little encouragement, a listening ear, and a steady routine can make all the difference. Stay with us. What's Trending continues after the break.